Hello, and welcome to part 2 of Crash Course, How to Keep from Wrecking Your Spine on the Job. I'm Dr. Amir Ismaili, physical therapist. In part 1 of this course series, we reviewed the economic and societal impacts of workplace injuries, described the physiology of common musculoskeletal injuries in the workplace, and provided a basic overview of how optimal body mechanics and ergonomics decrease the likelihood of injury. In today's course, we'll take this a step further by providing you with real-world examples of the most common causes of both acute and repetitive stress injuries. In each of the following segments, we'll contrast depictions of optimal body mechanics against suboptimal techniques and postures that can lead to injury or the worsening of an existing issue. Let's begin. Let's begin by observing a routine transfer from bed to wheelchair. Setting up your environment to facilitate a safe transfer is key. We can see here that our caregiver Daniel has positioned the bed at a slight angle to allow room for the wheelchair, the rolling walker, and himself as he assists the patient in this transfer. This becomes of even greater importance when negotiating lines and tubes. The caregiver instructs the patient to scoot to the edge of the bed and to widen her base of support by moving her feet apart. Again, with an open palm on the patient's low back, he gently suggests the movement of leaning forward and then rises along with the patient. The patient uses her rolling walker to take a few steps over to her wheelchair, and the order of movement used to assume standing is now reversed. Notice the caregiver squats with the patient as she sits. His hand remains with an open palm on the lower part of the back to encourage the patient to bend forward at her waist as she reaches for the armrests. The patient should be discouraged from using the rolling walker to assist the initial sit to stand. Since the patient's weight is behind the walker while rising, the walker is likely to tip back toward the patient, resulting in an unsafe transfer. Injuries often take place in this situation when a caregiver attempts to catch the patient as they lose their balance and lurch back. Care should also be taken not to grab underneath the patient's arm to assist the transfer. This does not provide an optimal degree of support for the patient and can compromise sensitive structures in the shoulder. Here we see the caregiver has failed to check the wheelchair brakes prior to initiating the transfer. This lapse in oversight by the caregiver can result in considerable bodily harm to the patient and caregiver alike. Care should be taken to ensure that all sitting surfaces are stable prior to beginning the transfer.